to your TOEFL iBT preparation course. Today we will focus on the writing section. You've probably noticed some extra materials in your course folders. Throughout this video, you will hear me ask you to review some sample answers. These are PDF files in the writing materials folder. Alright, now that that's covered, let's take a look at the basics of the TOEFL iBT writing section. Think back to the vocabulary that you heard during the general introduction video. In this section, you have two tasks, integrated writing task and independent writing task. The integrated comes first because you will need to wear headphones and listen to some information. You will have 20 minutes for this task. Then you may take the headphones off and move on to the independent writing task, which takes about 30 minutes. Remember, you are not expected to produce a well-written, well-researched, comprehensive essay. You will just be writing a draft, and the raters know this. You can still receive a high score with an essay that contains some errors. Let's look a little closer at the integrated writing task. This gives you the opportunity to show that you can communicate in writing about academic information that you have read and listened to. You will read a passage about an academic topic for 3 minutes. Then you will summarize points in the lecture and explain how they relate to specific points in the reading passage. During the integrated writing task, it's important to focus on the way the question is phrased. This is your clue for how to proceed. If the lecture challenges the information in the reading passage, then you should do one of the following tasks written in red. After you have reviewed these, you should be better prepared for taking notes while listening. There are also phrases that signal support or strengthen the passage, so take a moment to review these. They are also written in red. Remember, at any point, if you need to pause the video to read more carefully, it's completely okay. Preparation is key to being prepared for the writing task. So at this point in the video, I want you to take that pause and have a look at the PDF labeled Strategies for Preparing the Integrated Writing Task. This will give you some good ideas about what you will see on the writing task, and you can take a look at the integrated writing scoring rubric. This will tell you what the raters will be looking for. Please make sure you understand each section of the rubric. This is very important for knowing what you should write. Okay, so now that you have a better expectation for what you might see in the integrated writing section and what the raters are looking for, let's do a little analysis together. So here you have a reading passage. I want you to practice completing this reading passage in 2 minutes. Okay, now let's take a look at an example. You should have better expectations for what you might see in the integrated writing task and what the raters are looking for because you read the materials in the PDFs. So, you can see that there's a reading passage on the screen. I want you to practice completing the reading in 2 minutes. Ready? Go. Okay, how did you do? Did you remember to take notes? Taking notes is very important in all sections where you have reading and listening materials. Don't forget about that. So now you will hear a lecture related to the text that you just read. So after you hear the audio, we will move on and then you will see the question.
Now I want to tell you about what one company found when it decided that it would turn over some of its new projects to teams of people and make the team responsible for planning the projects and getting the work done. After about 6 months, the company took a look at how well the teams performed. On virtually every team, some members got almost a free ride. They didn't contribute much at all. But if their team did a good job, they nevertheless benefited from the recognition the team got. And what about the group members who worked especially well and who provided a lot of insight on the problems and issues? Well, the recognition for a job well done went to the group as a whole. No names were named. So it won't surprise you to learn that when the real contributors were asked how they felt about the group process, their attitude was just the opposite of what the reading predicts. Another finding was that some projects just didn't move very quickly. Why? Because it took so long to reach a consensus. It took many meetings to build the agreement among group members about how they would move the project along. On the other hand, there were other instances where one or two people managed to become very influential over what the group did. Sometimes when those influencers said, "That will never work," about an idea the group was developing, the idea was quickly dropped instead of being further discussed. And then there was another occasion when a couple of influencers convinced the group that a plan of theirs was highly creative. And even though some members tried to warn the rest of the group that the project was moving in the directions that might not work, they were basically ignored by other group members. Can you guess the ending to this story? When the project failed, the blame was placed on all the members of the group.